Hello. Okay, this is really awkward and weird, and I just watched the 15 videos about hacking and how people can see into your life, and so I probably shouldn't be videotaping and putting myself on YouTube, but lots of people do it, and I have a purpose. I don't know how to edit. I don't know where to look. My husband just bought me this little ringy light thing, which is really cool, because he knew I wanted to start doing videos mainly for grief. I guess sort of like grief therapy or grief content to share. I just got my hair dyed yesterday, so you can see that. Gorgeous. Because I'll go into that later. Anyway, it's really neat though. It changes colors. Oh, daytime. Ooh, luxurious night. Oh, bright. That's gonna be good for makeup. Okay, cool. Okay, so anyway, you get the point. Anyway, so the last video I posted was very extreme. I honestly have not opened it or watched it or read any comments or have no idea if anybody's even looked at it, and I'm praying they haven't, because I am the type of woman who will put what she's vulnerable about and what she's dealing with out there. Usually in the past 10 years, I'd say, most of that has been all just Facebook posts, pictures, normal things like that. I can see how this gets really distracting. And I have had family members tell me to not do that over the years. I've had moments where I've thought, why am I sharing my heart so much? But for those of you who battle, and it's a battle with depression or manic impulses, and what I consider to be an internal head injury from a car accident, combined with very traumatic life experiences, topped off by my mother's death in a car accident with my husband and I, coming up on, God, I think six years. I think that there's combinations of life, and it's uphill battles and the things that we don't prepare for, and we're not meant to prepare for, besides reading what I consider preparing is reading the Bible and seeking spirituality and having some kind of foundation, so that when things do pop up, hopefully that's where you can go and where you can lean on. Anyways, I just hit the record button and I just start crying into the phone. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to kind of give you a little bit of background. First of all, my mother, her name is Michelle, and she was a single mom, and she was a wonderful, beautiful person who had a lot of struggles in life. Nothing drug-like. That's all me. Me and my brother and other people in our family have had lots of addiction problems, but not really mom. I think, she liked her red wine, but she got super goofy and liked to decorate, smoked a little pot, but other than that, she was just an angel. And she was killed in a car accident while my husband was driving on our visit to Florida. We were holding hands because she was sitting directly behind me. We were always touching. We were very much in love as a mother and a daughter, sister to sister, friend to friend. We searched God together we really did talk about literally everything. I mean, I had the type of mother that did not paint a pretty picture if it wasn't a pretty picture. And I truly am so grateful for that. When she was mad, she was mad. When she couldn't pay the bills, we knew it. When she struggled in a horrible relationship she was in, we knew it. I left home at 15 because I knew it. As I got older and had my own problems, and into my late 20s and 30s, we made such amends that, I don't know, it just changed. Sorry. It just changed our relationship. And we weren't just a mother and a daughter trying to understand each other. We were best friends. We were girlfriends. We really had empathy and an open heart towards one another. So when she passed away, and we were T-boned, and she was killed pretty much instantly at 59, you know, in a really good time in her life. She had really had 9 years of being out of an abusive relationship, and she had moved to Florida, and she is a horticulturist, and you would just have had to know her, but she was my garden hippie mommy, and everyone in the world loved Michelle, and her employers did, and her son did, and I did, and her brother, who we just lost, did. All of my friends all called her Mama Michelle. You know, we had a very, I'm not going to say rough because people have it really rough, but we grew up in Grapevine, Texas, which is a wonderful place to grow up. But, you know, it was difficult. Let's just say that. There was, she wasn't a great man picker outer, is what I like to call it. But anyway, she had been away from that, and I had been married and, you know, moved on with my life, and my brother had moved on with his life. And so when we were able to come together, our relationship was one that we really bonded. We bonded as women, and I miss it terribly. But when that happened, I know I had an internal head injury, because obviously I was taken to rush to ICU, and my husband had broken ribs. Thank God he wasn't more injured. Thank God I wasn't more injured. I don't know what would have happened to him. I was gonna put on mascara, but anyway, or I did. I think that set off definitely a PTSD thing. You know, there's all these labels, but I had always battled with manic depression. I had a grandmother who battled very much her whole life with it. It kind of runs in the family. So I had been up and down. I had always used some sort of substance. I mean, from, you know, 14, just always had used something. Now, my main addiction to pills did not even pop off until I was 32, I think. But when I did, I went real hard and heavy, and did a lot of things that were not okay. And I still struggle. I really still struggle with addiction. I don't like people who say that they don't. I think that's ridiculous. I think that if you have personal traumas, an addictive personality, and a sensitive heart, you are going to need to stay on top of it every day, all the time. But anyway, when that happened, I had a breakdown, a mental breakdown. I will go into more detail about that over time, but I had lost touch with reality, and this is months after the accident, months after the shock, months after, you know, we had a memorial in Florida where we prayed and let some of her ashes go in the ocean because that was her lifeline and where she lived. And then we brought her back home to Grapevine. I was still on crutches. I was not sure what had really happened. We had all been drinking that evening. So, of course, we didn't know what the alcohol level was. We knew that we had eyewitnesses. I mean, it's just a whole mess, and we'll get there. But there was a point where I started drinking pretty much every day and just getting shithoused. I mean, not drinking like it's cute. I mean, fireball after fireball shot after beer after fireball. I mean, it was rough. And my husband was right there with me because we're best friends, and we have a lot of fun together. But of course, after something like this happens, the drunker you get, the more often you're going to go back to the terrible things. I also blotch very easily. People who love me know this about me. So there we are, blotchy blotchy. Thank you, Jesus. I lost touch with reality, and something happened that night and the following weeks that I'll never forget. I think that I had lost my mind, and because I had been to rehab before, because I had such a strong tie to God and to my faith, I was able to pray my way back in sight, back into the boat. But it was very, very touchy. And because that happened, it really shook the foundation of who I am and who I was, and what does this mean if I can have a nervous breakdown, if I can lose all touch. I mean, I'm talking about all touch with reality. Since then, that happened probably a year and a half maybe after she had died. It was a rough go. I've been different. I have been on Effexor, and I have been off and on anxiety pills, and then I got the doctor to give me Adderall and had to have a battle with Adderall, and it was wonderful when it works, but for an addict, it's never gonna work. Anything that changes your personality and extinguishes who you truly genuinely are, whether that be lazy or tired that day or depressed or anxious or whatever, it just doesn't work for addicts, and I wholeheartedly believe that. I do think the chemical imbalance is there, and it has always been there, and so that's what the Effexor is for. Because there's not an immediate effect, I trust myself with that. But it's one of those things you have to put in the light, and it's hard to let everybody know that. You want to be in control of yourself. You want to seem put together. I haven't ever really been put together, and so at 42, I think I am. Yeah, I'll be 43 soon. I've just embraced it, and that's where I'm going to leave this video at. Embracing myself at this age and embracing all of the mess, the messy roots. But I just want to put myself out there for people that maybe are feeling the same way or dealing with the same thing. Grief is very difficult. It's years and years later, and her birthday is this week, and the holidays just passed. We also lost her brother to cancer. So life is hard, and I am not going to live my life acting like it's not. It's hard for me. So maybe it's hard for you too. I don't know. Anyway, peace out. I'll try this again another day. Thanks.